Now at 9, voters across the 4 states head to the polls to decide local races and tax questions. The latest results.
Voters weighing in on critical races today that could serve as a measuring stick for the national political climate. I'm Connor Hansen in New York. I'll have the details coming up.
And winter approaches, but heating help remains frozen. State leaders fight to protect residents from utility shutoffs.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Polls have closed across the 4 states as voters decide local elections and tax questions that will directly impact your community. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. Your vote counts in races that affect your wallet, your schools, and your neighborhoods. And the results are pouring in as we speak. We start in Barton County, Missouri, where voters have 3 separate money issues on the ballot. The first proposition covers residents in the entire county and asks for a $1.50 per ton landfill fee to be used for countywide economic development. This proposition passes. The second asks voters living within the Barton County Ambulance District to pass a use tax matching the county's sales tax. This one fails. In Lamar, Missouri, voters decide whether to approve a 0.5% sales tax proposal to build a new aquatic center. This one passes by a close margin. KOAM's Blake Goley joins me now with more on what this means for the Lamar community.
Yes, it's a sales tax that would remain in effect for 30 years, but the money generated has the potential to provide enjoyment for the Lamar community for generations to come. The half-cent tax will fund a $4.4 million aquatic center to replace the facility that's been closed since 2022. The old pool suffered major infrastructure problems and large leaks that the city officials say cannot be repaired. City officials say the old facility must be completely rebuilt from the ground up. The tax will cover both construction and operational costs for the new aquatic center. Supporters say this proposition provides an opportunity to restore community programs like the high school swim team and give families a reason to stay in Lamar.
In Fort Scott, Kansas, voters decided whether to keep or eliminate a half-cent sales tax that's been in place for years. And this one is currently undecided. And Blake, this tax question brought several questions from the community last August.
Yes, that's right, Tanya. The city decided to hold a town hall to hopefully answer a few of those questions. Residents wanted to know how the money from previous taxes has been spent and whether all projects are necessary. During the meeting, the mayor warned eliminating the tax would slow progress significantly in the historic community. Fort Scott city leaders say the tax is essential for funding street repairs, equipment for first responders, and park improvements. 80% of the tax revenue goes to fixing roads that date back to the 1800s.
In Parsons, Kansas, voters decided yes, currently a 0.5% sales tax after the current one expires in 2027. This tax is currently passing, and it's designed to reduce property taxes in the city. Chinook, Kansas voters are currently failing a new sales tax for economic development. The 0.15% tax would have funded business recruitment and retention. And in Allen County, you see the numbers there. Voters are deciding a 0.25% sales tax to fund healthcare services for the next 5 years. It includes funding for the Allen County Regional Hospital. It is currently passing. Also in Allen County, LaHarpe residents were asked to decide a 1.5% sales tax to fund street projects and other capital improvements. This one is also currently passing. And voters in Altoona, Kansas decided on a 2% retailer sales tax. This tax will help fund infrastructure improvements for the next 10 years, and it has passed. Voters in Crawford County, Kansas decided school board and city government races in a number of communities. Earlier today, the Deputy Director of Elections reported turnout across the county as steady and typical for an off-year election.
These odd-year elections with the city school generally aren't very energized, I guess. But I mean, it's pretty normal that we get around 20-some% like that, and it seems about trending towards that.
We'll have results from a number of Crawford County races and more later in the show. You can keep up with the latest local election results throughout the evening by scanning this QR code. It'll take you to the Decision 2025 races and results page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Chief Meteorologist Doug Eddy joins us now with a first look at weather.
It definitely turned out to be a warm and windy day for us today. At times, our winds were gusting 30, 35, upwards to 40 miles per hour. These have come down a bit over the past several hours, but it's going to stay breezy out there as we go through the rest of the night, and even breezy on Wednesday as well. We do have some mid and upper level clouds kind of pushing through. We just don't have anything underneath the clouds, so we are going to stay on the dry side. Let me walk you through time. Clouds kind of skirting through. Not as cold tonight, 53, 54, 55 degrees for overnight lows. As we go into the afternoon, smidge cooler, but nice. I think most of us 67, 68, maybe 69 degrees. But look at today, 75 degrees was our high temp. Average high is 63. How long are these temperatures going to stick around? We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Voters weighing in on this election Tuesday on key races, which could take the temperature on national politics. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
In a trio of key races today, issues like affordability are front and center. Both parties will be watching closely for any insight into how voters are feeling. In America's largest city, voters are picking their new mayor, and the stakes are high. The frontrunner is 34-year-old Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani. He's hoping to defeat former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, who is now running as an independent.
If they want to vote for a candidate endorsed by Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Stephen Miller, by all means, they should vote for Andrew Cuomo.
This is going to determine the future of the city of New York. May also determine the future of the Democratic Party.
Trailing both in the polls, Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa. Across the river in New Jersey, voters will decide what has become an increasingly tight contest for governor.
I'm going to work relentlessly to drive down costs for people.
We have an affordability crisis in New Jersey, and I can address that on day one.
In Virginia, voters will choose their first female governor. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears faces off against former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger.
You hired us, and we're so grateful that you did. And now here I am, 4 years later, again asking for your vote.
We need a governor who is working tirelessly to mitigate every harm that might be caused by a reckless and chaotic administration.
And in California, voters will decide if the state will be the latest to redraw its congressional maps, which would likely hand over seats to the Democrats in the midterms. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, coming up, the government shut down at a stalemate.
Still no funding agreement on Capitol Hill as the government shutdown sets a new record. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I've got the details coming up.
Plus, nearly 40 million Americans battle diabetes and its serious complications. That story next, but first, more election results in Southeast Kansas.
The Predator franchise.
The Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services puts out a warning about the dangers of 7-0 or 7-hydroxy. It's a chemical found in the kratom plant and sold in some products like gummies, candies, and powders. According to the Department of Health and Senior Services, it is 13 times stronger than morphine.
Adults, we check the ingredients and look at what stuff is and can look stuff up easier than children can. If they grab something and they just want it, sometimes parents don't look at all the ingredients and stuff, but it's something that parents need to be looking at, what the ingredients are, what they're getting from the store.
Some of the symptoms of 7-0 use are nausea, vomiting, agitation, and confusion. Well, this month is all about diabetes awareness. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 1 in 10 people nationwide has it. And while there's different types, most people living with diabetes have been diagnosed with type 2. But Ted Linder shows us there's a higher risk for people with type 1 diabetes of also developing mental health issues over time.
With November marking Diabetes Awareness Month, the latest data from the CDC reveals 38.4 million people in the U.S. have some form of the disease, primarily either type 1 or type 2. According to medical experts at the Cleveland Clinic, type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder where the body either makes very little or no insulin, a hormone critical for regulating blood sugar levels. For people with type 2 diabetes, their bodies can usually make insulin but don't use it the right way. Over time, unregulated diabetes can cause heart disease, nerve damage, and other serious complications. While both type 1 and type 2 diabetes require people to make lifestyle changes, people with type 1 diabetes need to take insulin every day to survive, either through injections or pumps. Those insulin doses and when they're administered must also be balanced according to a person's diet, exercise, and stress levels.
Type 1 diabetes is a heavy diagnosis to get.
And psychologists say having to constantly manage type 1 diabetes can lead to burnout, depression, and anxiety.
We found in that population the rate of mood symptoms is 2 to 3 times in a population without type 1 diabetes. They're making so many decisions per day, it gets exhausting.
Mental health experts say people struggling with these feelings should talk to their loved ones and psychology professionals. This as they issue helpful reminders for combating stressful moments.
Anxiety and depression are part of, are regulated by your nervous system, and breathing can help regulate that nervous system.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later community volunteers beautify the Carthage Park for holiday visitors. But first, more 4-state election results.
Home of Connect a Culture and Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, it was a beautiful Tuesday for us today. 75 was our official high during the afternoon hours, so it really got up there. Now, it was super windy across the region, but we had quite a bit of sunshine throughout the daytime hours for us today. And it looks like we'll have quite a bit of sunshine again as we go into Wednesday. Now, we do have some mid and upper level clouds kind of skirting through. It's not a big deal. We're going to stay dry. They're just going to scoot across the mid and upper levels of our atmosphere. Besides that, not as cold for us tonight. So instead of, well, of course, over the weekend we had hard frost. We're talking about 53, 54, 55 degrees for overnight lows, which, hey, we can handle that. All right, so by noon tomorrow, look at the winds. They're out of the north. We have a cold front that drops through about the middle of the morning, and I think our high temps a smidge cooler, maybe 5 or 6 degrees cooler. I think most of us 68 to about 70 on your Wednesday afternoon. A little bit colder Thursday morning into the mid to upper 40s to kick off Thursday, and then partly sunny skies. Notice the winds turn back out of the south. That helps us warm back up into the 70s for highs. So temperatures stay above average next couple days, but it is going to stay a little bit on the breezy side. We see these breezy southerly winds sticking around as we go through tonight, but they're going to come down a bit as we get toward morning. I think gusts kind of 10 to 20. Watch the winds. Here comes our cold front. Here's 9, 10, 11 a.m. They switch out of the northeast, but still kind of breezy behind it. But overall, pretty good day. 54 to start, 68 by noon, high temp right around 69 degrees. And look at this, really from west all the way to east, a zonal flow. We don't have any big storm systems which are moving in anytime soon. So the next few days, we stay warm, we stay a little breezy. We do have another system. Watch this, it drops in. So this is going to be Saturday night. Now look at the snow from Iowa over toward the Great Lakes. This is going to stay north of us, but what it will do for us is it pulls in some colder air behind it as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. and then a slow warming trend as we go through the week. All right, let's go into your weekend. What should you expect? Friday overall still looks pretty good. Lower 70s for highs. Saturday, not bad again. Mid to upper 60s. But here comes that colder air dropping in. So Saturday night and into Sunday. Sunday, we may struggle to get out of the 40s for afternoon highs. And then look at this. Sunday night, we drop back into the mid 20s for lows. And then Monday's going to be chilly. Highs only right around 50. And then we'll see a slow warming trend as we go through the week. All right, 69 tomorrow, 74 Thursday, 72 on Friday, 69 Saturday, looking good, but only 48 on Sunday, only 51 by Monday.
Well, volunteers transform Carthage Central Park today, pulling summer flowers and prepping garden beds for the holidays. About 10 people, including a group from Southwest Missouri Youth Build, spent 2 hours clearing oval beds that will soon hold Christmas trees for sparkle in the park.
We want this park to really be a beautiful place for people to stop, to pause, to walk, to reflect. And we take a lot of pride in working with Parks and Recreation to really make this place beautiful.
And the community effort helps the city and Carthage Water and Electric add festive touches to the downtown space as the holiday season approaches. Well, coming up next, students get hands-on construction experience while improving a local park.
Pitt State construction students apply their skills within the community. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll give you an inside look coming up.
But first, from high above, South Joplin's tree-lined streets and neighborhoods display the magnificent colors of fall as the season reaches its peak. Students from the Pitt State School of Construction stepped outside the classroom today, putting their skills to use within the community. KOAM's Kenny Foreman gives us an inside look at their latest project.
If you're looking to play pickleball at Four Oaks Park, you might notice some work being done along the sidewalk. Believe it or not, that work comes from the hands of students who are mixing in the concrete. Assistant Professor Christopher Pross says it's been in the works for quite a bit.
They will actually go through and do an estimate, a schedule, a contract, and then physically go out and manage and construct the project. So a little bit more hands-on component of how we do things.
For the students, having this kind of hands-on experience can be very valuable, especially as they look to enter the construction field after college.
We believe that is a huge value to our students by not only providing them the background for the management, the professional side, but also having them understand what the hands-on component goes into that. So they can actually direct their laborers or their subcontractors in the field when they get out into the real world because they've actually done it.
Though professionals at Conco companies oversee the project, almost all the work is done by the students. And while they feel good about the work, there's always going to be hurdles that can't be avoided.
This applies out in the field, and it's a really good learning opportunity out here. You never know when it might come in and rain for a week, or you might not be able to get a piece of equipment that you needed, or something breaks down on you, and that's probably some of the biggest challenges we faced was equipment.
But in the end, their efforts are seen by the community.
A lot of the people out here that play pickleball, they're out here all the time from 8, 7 in the morning to all the way at 9 o'clock at night. And if we're out here working, they are constantly asking us questions, just wondering when we're going to be done, telling us thank you and how much they appreciate the work we're putting in for the community.
In Pittsburgh, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
The planning process began back in August and involved collaboration with the Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation Department. The students range from sophomores to seniors looking to complete their capstone projects. Well, the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce officially welcomes Betsy Mintz as its new president and CEO. The chamber hosted a meet and greet at the Roxy Event Center this evening. Mintz previously served on the chamber's board of directors and as executive director of the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri. Mintz says she's honored to serve the Joplin community.
I love where I'm at. I love our city. I love the people in it. I love the businesses. And it all just makes sense to me to be a big part of that. And if we want something better, then we work at it and we all come together as a team. So I think community is one of those values that I really appreciate.
Mintz replaces Travis Stevens as chamber president, who left the position last June. Coming up next, someone out there might be listening. A new project sends human voices into deep space, hoping for contact. If you could send a message to the universe, what would you say? Thousands of people are recording their thoughts, hopes, and hellos, betting that one day someone or something out there will hear them. Kids in Australia are teaming up with students from MIT to send their voices into deep space. It's a mission inspired by the golden record sent on Voyager 1 nearly 50 years ago, a time capsule of life and culture on planet Earth.
We're going to say hi to UFOs.
You know, if we're to find evidence of life elsewhere in the universe, that will be an absolute step change for humanity and our place in it.
Do you believe in aliens?
100%. If we're living, there must be other life.
There must be. The Humans Project, run by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is collecting voices from more than 80 countries in more than 65 languages, launching the Cosmic Conversations in 2027. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The government shutdown breaks a record no one wanted, day 35 and counting. And millions face a cold winter without heating help as the federal shutdown delays energy assistance programs.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. This is now officially the longest government shutdown in history, and there are no signs either party is ready to back down. Fox News Chief Washington Correspondent Mike Emanuel has more from Washington.
I mean, it really is stupid.
It's a record nobody here in Washington wanted to see broken. The government shutdown is on day 35. It is now officially the longest in history, and frustration is growing on both sides.
The Democrats will reveal what this was about all the time, which was a political play.
They're okay screwing people over on their health care.
The motion is not agreed to.
On Tuesday, the Senate failed for the 14th time to break the Democrat filibuster. There were reports that a short-term continuing resolution was being floated by some lawmakers, but there doesn't appear to be much traction. And the main sticking point remains funding for the Affordable Care Act. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's now taking his case directly to rank-and-file Democrats.
We're going above the heads of the so-called leadership, and we are appealing to the consciences of a handful of people in the Senate who want to do the right thing.
But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says that won't work because his party is united behind the push to restore those health care subsidies.
Lowering people's health care costs is the definition of common sense.
Meanwhile, President Trump once again called on Republicans to use the so-called nuclear option, ending the filibuster, to get the government up and running again.
He feels really strongly about this. Republicans need to play tough and they need to play smart. That's how the president feels.
Senate Republicans say they're working on a plan that could have the government back open by the end of the week. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, problems are piling up at airports across the country as the government shutdown stretches into its second month. More than 4,400 flights face delays as air traffic controllers and TSA workers continue without pay. Many are calling out sick, though, creating major staffing shortages. Texas has seen the worst delays at Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston airports. 13,000 controllers missed their second paycheck, raising new safety concerns. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns he'll shut down all air travel if conditions worsen. And as we dive deeper into the fall, the temperatures around much of the country are only expected to keep getting colder. While turning on the heat isn't cheap, advocates for those on government assistance programs say the ongoing federal shutdown is putting millions at risk of feeling the cold. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look.
With fall temperatures getting cooler, some people may be starting to eye the thermostat for a little warmth.
Everything keeps going up.
But for the 5.9 million households nationwide who receive money through the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, many are wondering if they'll be able to turn on their heaters, with the mercury expected to keep dropping.
So to have it means that that's one part of a burden that I won't have to handle.
Established in 1981, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program helps people afford to heat and cool their homes. States get a set amount of federal money each year to manage the program. But the ongoing government shutdown is keeping those funds frozen. Several states, including Kansas, Minnesota, New York, and Pennsylvania, have already announced their plans are delayed.
This is about people's real lives.
Some communities are trying to take action. In Philadelphia on Monday, local leaders called on the Public Utility Commission to not disconnect gas lines from impacted residents until their program is able to reopen.
And now they have to worry about whether they're going to freeze to death in the middle of the winter in the city of Philadelphia. Well, we're not going to let that happen.
This comes as analysts say many impacted households are already facing potential uncertainties over other government assistance programs.
At the same time that there could be delays in energy assistance, the other key components of what helps families get by, SNAP and WIC, might also be delayed. And for families that live on the margin, these are the things that keep them from falling off the cliff.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, remembering Dick Cheney.
The nation remembers the life of former Vice President Dick Cheney. I'm Rebecca Castor with a look at his decades-long political career.
Well, it was a beautiful Tuesday for us today. 75 was our official high during the afternoon hours, so it really got up there. Now, it was super windy across the region, but we had quite a bit of sunshine throughout the daytime hours for us today. And it looks like we'll have quite a bit of sunshine again as we go into Wednesday. Now, we do have some mid and upper level clouds kind of skirting through. It's not a big deal. We're going to stay dry. They're just going to scoot across the mid and upper levels of our atmosphere. Besides that, not as cold for us tonight. So instead of, well, of course, over the weekend we had hard frost. We're talking about 53, 54, 55 degrees for overnight lows, which, hey, we can handle that. All right, so by noon tomorrow, look at the winds. They're out of the north. We have a cold front that drops through about the middle of the morning. And I think our high temps a smidge cooler. Maybe 5 or 6 degrees cooler. I think most of us 68 to about 70 on your Wednesday afternoon. A little bit colder Thursday morning into the mid to upper 40s to kick off Thursday, and then partly sunny skies. Notice the winds turn back out of the south. That helps us warm back up into the 70s for highs. So temperatures stay above average next couple days, but it is going to stay a little bit on the breezy side. We see these breezy southerly winds sticking around as we go through tonight, but they're going to come down a bit as we get toward morning. I think gusts kind of 10 to 20. Watch the winds. Here comes our cold front. Here's 9, 10, 11 a.m. They switch out of the northeast, but still kind of breezy behind it, but overall pretty good day. 54 to start, 68 by noon, high temp right around 69 degrees. And look at this, really from west all the way to east, a zonal flow. We don't have any big storm systems which are moving in anytime soon. So the next few days, we stay warm, we stay a little breezy. We do have another system. Watch this. It drops in. So this is going to be Saturday night. Now look at the snow from Iowa over toward the Great Lakes. This is going to stay north of us, but what it will do for us is it pulls in some colder air behind it as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then a slow warming trend as we go through the week. All right, let's go into your weekend. What should you expect? Friday overall still looks pretty good. Lower 70s for highs. Saturday, not bad again. Mid to upper 60s, but here comes that colder air dropping in. So Saturday night and into Sunday. Sunday, we may struggle to get out of the 40s for afternoon highs. And then look at this. Sunday night, we drop back into the mid-20s for lows. And then Monday's going to be chilly. Highs only right around 50. And then we'll see a slow warming trend as we go through the week. All right, 69 tomorrow, 74 Thursday, 72 on Friday, 69 Saturday, looking good, but only 48 on Sunday, only 51 by Monday.
Well, still ahead, Missouri Southern Lions are looking for a win in the MIAA Conference. Plus, a Gorilla kicker is a 3-time MIAA Player of the Week winner. Those stories and more up next in sports.
The Missouri Southern Lions are looking for a bounce-back win this week as they hit the road for a matchup against Central Oklahoma. Following their biggest win of the season against Nebraska Kearney 2 weeks ago, the the Lions offense has struggled to score points, and that all starts with their running game that's averaging negative yards per game the last 2 weeks. Lions head coach Atiba Bradley stressed the importance of making the offense less one-dimensional.
Ultimately, to get where we want to go in this program, we've got to have the ability to run the football, and that'll be, I can tell you, it's a point of emphasis this week. It's been a point of emphasis, and we just got to keep chipping away at it.
Every game is an exciting prospect for MSSU because the Lions know they can play with anyone, and their win over the Lopers proved that. Southern comes into this game craving another MIAA conference win, and Saturday is a prime opportunity to take down the reigning MIAA champs.
We realize how good we can be and how good we have been, and so the challenge is you get to go on the road, you get to play in another environment that's as fun as anywhere in the MIAA, and then you get to prove it. And so I think our guys are excited about just an opportunity to play again.
The Lions and Broncos battle in Edmond on Saturday. Kickoff at 1 p.m. from Chad Richardson Stadium. The Gorillas of Pitt State have won 7 straight games following their win over rival Missouri Southern on Saturday. And after another strong performance, a familiar face has received weekly honors. Gorillas kicker Austin Schmidt is a 3-time MIAA Special Teams Player of the Week winner after receiving the honors for the 3rd time in the last 4 weeks. Against the Lions last week, Schmidt connected on all 3 of his field goal attempts from 34, 26, and 30 yards out. This season, the junior leads the MIAA in field goals and has set 2 career highs while scoring his first ever touchdown. Schmidt and the Gorillas eye an 8th straight win this week against Central Missouri. Kickoff at 1 p.m. from Warrensburg. The Pitt State women's soccer team is also on fire, currently riding a 5-match winning streak. And as the Gorillas gear up for their final regular season match on Wednesday, history has been made today. For the first time in program history, Pitt State is in the National Women's Soccer Rankings. After defeating number 18 Central Missouri on Sunday, the Gorillas are the 24th ranked team in the latest United Soccer Coaches National Rankings. PSU wraps up the regular season against Missouri Southern on Wednesday before opening the MIAA Championships at home on Sunday. And an eventful day for the Gorillas did not end there, as Pitt State has swept the MIAA Weekly Honors. Sophomore midfielder and forward Carrie Cunningham has been named the Conference Offensive Player of the Week after netting the game-winning goal on Sunday. And after 2 more shutouts last week, defender Ann Bonelin receives the Defender of the Week, and goalie Jocelyn Kramer's back-to-back Goalkeeper of the Week. That's it for your sports. We're back with more after the break.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84 years old. His family, friends, and former colleagues are now reflecting on his life and decades in politics. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more from Washington.
Dick Cheney leaves behind a long and controversial political legacy here in Washington, where he's largely considered one of the most powerful vice presidents in history. Workers in Washington lowering flags to half-staff to honor the late Dick Cheney.
So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
The 46th vice president passed away Monday at 84 years old. Now, friends and colleagues are remembering him as one of the most polarizing yet influential figures in American politics.
He played a key role in shaping policy on many of the most consequential issues of its day.
In a statement, former President George W. Bush calls his death a loss to the nation, saying, quote, "In our long discussions about the qualities a vice president should have, I realized that Dick Cheney was the one I needed." Cheney served under Bush for 8 years, playing a key role in the war on terror after the 9/11 attacks.
I think probably the most important thing we did was to keep the country safe for the last 7.5 years, to disrupt, interrupt, break up all the prospective attacks and plots that were developed to come launch another mass casualty attack inside the United States.
Cheney also held positions in Congress and led the Pentagon. He remained out of politics in recent years, but stood strongly by his daughter Liz Cheney, the former Republican Congresswoman, as she clashed with President Trump.
The president is aware of the former vice president's passing, and as you saw, flags have been lowered to half-staff in accordance with statutory law.
Cheney passed away Monday night due to complications with pneumonia and heart disease. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Up next, milestone moments in Hollywood. Dick Van Dyke turns 100 and Kristen Wiig gets recognized as an icon. Those stories and more in Hollywood Nation. Marking a century with Dick Van Dyke and reuniting with the Friends of Sesame Street. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
How to get back to Sesame Street, where to celebrate an icon's birthday, and when Wig is being honored in the Hollywood Nation. Women in Film is presenting Palm Royale star Kristen Wiig the inaugural Icon Award at their annual gala this year. The honor is for performances which have captured the zeitgeist, defining a generation and shaping the cultural landscape. The ceremony, which raises funds for Women in Film's programs, will be held November 6th in Beverly Hills.
Happy birthday, darling.
In today's First Looks is a tribute for a legendary entertainer, Dick Van Dyke 100th celebration. The documentary includes film and TV moments and interviews with Van Dyke and friends. It's in theaters December 13th and 14th.
I cannot miss Christmas. What an incredible, unique thing about you, Kevin.
The Jonas Brothers get festive in the trailer for A Very Jonas Christmas. The film features the trio facing a series of obstacles trying to make it home for the holidays and streams on Disney Plus and Hulu November 14th.
Guys, I've got this.
There's so many different things to learn about.
Elmo, Big Bird, and Friends star in today's First Looks with the reimagined Sesame Street. The show has interactive episodes full of music, learning, and fun, plus a new animated segment, Tales from 1, 2, 3. The series drops across 3 volumes with NASCAR champion Bubba Wallace as the celebrity guest in Volume 1. It launches on Netflix in 30-plus languages, debuting on the streamer and PBS Kids November 10th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. In the spirit of election night, we're going to leave you tonight with video of Izzy, the brown bear, who once ran for president at the Alaska Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.